Welcome to this current affair topic, Abraham Accord that was signed in the August 2020. That signed deal between the Israel and UAE, where USA is also a mediator kind of things. We will see how these relations have been made, how this Abraham Accord is beneficial for India, and what is the issue behind Israel and all. When Israel get a word and been recognized as a nation. So moving ahead in this lecture, why this Abraham Accord is called so, like as Abraham Accord? What is the reason behind it? So Israel, if you see that Israel fought a very long fight for the recognition as a nation. So Israel for a long period has been perpetual isolation, where when it comes to in the relation with the Middle East. So most of the Middle Eastern nations are proposed for the idea of Israel, like many nations like Iraq, Syria, Saudi Arabia was starting, they were not recognizing Israel as a nation. But India normalized these ties, that issues, as recognizing Israel as a country, and in 1992 India identified Israel as a nation in them. But in spite of that also, the other neighboring countries did not recognize it, and there is a disputed area of the West Bank and the Jerusalem and all. So we will see all the in the separate lecture, like how this petroleum issues came because of that petroleum and all these fights are there. So West Bank and Jerusalem, like this is the fight for the Israel, like taking that this is the part of Israel only. So Israel recently has been undertaking lots of area expansion in its immediate neighbor, especially to the area of called West Bank. So few of the countries like United Arab Emirates, UAE, Bahrain, etc. came together and signed peace deal with Israel and accepted Israel as a nation, and further no area expansion is mentioned by the Israel or by them too. So since it involves what involves Jewish nation, since it involves Jewish nations of Israel and as well as Islamic nations of its surrounding, hence this termed to be as Abraham Accord. That's why it is termed to be as Abraham Accord, because the nationality kind of things with Israel as a Jewish and the Islamic nations around it, like Iraq and all. Okay, so thus we recognize it as a Abraham Accord. So the Israel United Arab Emirates normalization agreement happened. So officially the Abraham Accords peace agreement. So the treaty of peace in this accord, there is treaty of peace, diplomatic relations and full normalization between the United Arab Emirates and the state of Israel was initially agreed to a joint statement by the United States, Israel and United Arab Emirates on August 13, 2020 and officially referred to as Abraham Accord. So what is the issue? Which are the countries were against it? So we will see in the next slide. So once the deal that signed, that Abraham Accord, so Iran, Turkey, Qatar were against the deal. So Iran is here, then Qatar will be in Saudi Arabia, then below, then this is a Saudi Arabia, this is a Turkey. Okay, so they felt that the countries like UAE and Bahrain betrayed a Palestine cause and joined hand with the Israel. Okay, so because of those that Palestine issues and all, they joined hand, like they are feeling that the UAE and Bahrain that betrayed the Palestine issues, and they are now joining the hand with the Israel. But the scene is that the Saudi Arabia, that it is that Saudi Arabia had an all good connection with USA, and USA have a good connection with that is Israel. So ultimately if you see mathematical property, that transitive property, you will see that ultimately this UAE and Saudi Arabia are also have a good relation with Israel. Okay, so Saudi Arabia, it is a leading Sunni state with respect to Middle Eastern region, and both UAE and Bahrain had a good relation with the Saudi Arabia, and other grouping is of like, see, Saudi Arabia had also good, it is not like that they did not have a good relation with other regions. They also have a good relation with the same different groupings that is found by the Iran, Turkey, Qatar, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. But now, and these all are against the Israel declaring as a nations and for this accord, that Abraham Accord and all. So in spite of that, UAE coming like outside of this, and it is accepting that Israel as a nation and as a that signed at the peace deal. Okay, so the Saudi Arabia still did not openly accept Israel as a nation. This deal leads to the greater amount of polarization in the Middle East. Like the Saudi Arabia has a partner with this one, has a member of these countries, and ultimately outside of these countries, like these countries are against Israel, outside coming out of the Saudi Arabia is joining hand with the Israel. So that's kind of that polarization, this kind of polarization will increase in the Middle East. So what is the importance of that polarization with the Indian perspective? Why we are talking about this, how this is relevant for the Indian like Indian government exams or the state government exams. So basically it refers that Abraham Accord refers to the continuation of the normal diplomatic channel where these countries will accept Israel as a significant individual independence nation. And as we see that Riyadh is the capital of Saudi Arabia, which is also a key player, and Saudi Arabia, like see here this transitive property, I will explain that A, let us suppose A is a Saudi Arabia and USA. So A has a good relation with USA, that Saudi Arabia had a good relation with USA, and USA had a good relation with whom? With Israel. Okay, so ultimately with transitive property, with mathematical property, we will prove that. Don't just I'm giving as a joke kind of thing, that Saudi Arabia will be your that is related to the Israel. So in the same manner that thus the Saudi Arabia had a good relation with Israel. So similarly Saudi Arabia good relation with Israel, but not on the ground level, it is underground, that is not coming openly. So implications on India. So the scene is that there are lots of Indian people live there for the jobs and all. So kind of tourism will be promoted from those countries also, and India recognized first in for the Israel as a nation in the 1992, I guess. Yeah, in the 1992. Okay, so a stronger bonhomie, that is a friendship kind of things between UAE and Israel. So a better relationship between India and Middle East will emerge, and even though its tradition allies including Iran in the most left side, or for the India it is in the India it is in the left side, and for them it is in the right side, so are against the Israel. So India has to take care for it. India has to be taken, like India should not also be take a bad relation with Iran and all. India had a good relation with Iran, but ultimately India should also play a key role, like UAE also have a grouping with the Iran and all, and then also UAE has taken a step for the friendship with the Israel. Similarly India has to take care for it. Economic opportunities, like large diaspora, Indian living in Middle East, of Indians living in the Middle East and Eastern nations who are getting affected due to the fraud, bad relation with the Israel and other neighboring nations. See, like other neighboring nations, there are so many criminal activities or the frauds happen with the Indian people and all. So that kind of things can be checked from India, like if India is taking interest with the Israel and all, so they can help them, and ultimately a good relation with those nations will also be built up, and thus tourism will be that will promoted, and ultimately economical activity will be increased in the India, and from the India also for them also. So if the relations are good, so that is the one motive for India to take interest in this issue. So many people visit these areas and oftentimes unable to travel from one place to another due to the issue of visa, because these countries don't have a good relation. So ultimately if we don't have a good relation with the country X, so thus tourism will not be promoted, and ultimately it will hamper the economy of that country. So that's why it is saying that with the economics perspective also India should take care for that, but India has to take care that we have a good relation with other countries too, and we should not hamper our relation with other countries in making a new relation with Israel or making a good relation with Israel. So we have to take a balance kind of initiative like UAE is doing. Okay, so I hope you understand this lecture. Please like and subscribe. Your subscription is a form of payment for me, as it is a new channel. I need your support. You can give your suggestions or feedback or any on-demand video lecture if you want. Please feel free to ping on my Twitter handle. Thank you.